Hello, welcome to the fifth day of the 31st week. This is also the 19th day of our journey through the fifth 7 weeks of the year. I'm going to show you in this video something about the fifth seven, and I want you to pay very close attention. And I want you to, listen to the end. You're going to learn something from this. And let me also say to you that if you have not subscribed to this channel, I want you to subscribe. Thank you for all that you're doing so far. Now, this is what I want you to understand about the fifth season. The fifth season is a time to make a critical choice, a critical decision. And what's this decision about? It's about whether you're going to go up or stay down. It's about whether you want to go up or you want to stay down. That's what the fifth season is about. On the fifth day of creation, God created He made two categories of creatures. The first category, the sea creatures, He ordained them to live beneath. And you're going to see the spiritual implication, the spiritual meaning, significance of that. He ordained them to live beneath in water. And then the other category, the birds of the air, He ordained them to fly above. So the fifth season is a time to make a choice whether you want to fly above or you want to live beneath. And as you would have understood from this channel, that whatever God did, what God did on the fifth day of creation is illustrated, is expanded in the fifth book and fifth chapters of the Bible. Yeah, that's the way it is. What God did, whatever you see in the day of creation, look for it in the book and chapters of the Bible that correspond to that day of creation. So what God did on the fifth day of creation, making creatures one to fly above and the other to swim, God is simply saying, I want you to be the one to make a choice whether you want to be down or whether you want to be up. Now, in the fifth book of the Bible, you will see that. So in this video, I'm going to show you, why people may go up or stay down or go down in the fifth season. In the fifth season. So we're going to look at the fifth book of the Bible, which is the book of Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy is the fifth book of the Bible. And if you go to chapter 30 of that book, if you go to chapter 30 of the book of Deuteronomy, God will be telling them, I have set I've allowed you to make a choice. Okay, let's see verse 19. Verse 19. I call heaven and earth as witnesses today against you that I have set before you life and death, blessing and cursing. Therefore choose life that you and your descendants may live, that you may love the Lord your God, that you may obey his voice, and that you may cling to him, for he is your life and the length of your days, and that you may dwell in the land which the Lord swore to your fathers, to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, to give them. So, God said, the ball is in your court. I've set before you this day a blessing and a curse, life and death. You choose where you want to go. So the fifth book of the Bible shows us that one of the ways to stay up, if you want to soar like the birds of the air, follow what you see in the fifth season. If you want to soar like the birds of the air. But but if you want to be down like the sea creatures, fleshy fit sea creatures, do your own thing. If you want to go up, follow God. I'm going to show you something. Deuteronomy chapter 28. Deuteronomy chapter 28, the great 28 of Deuteronomy. Now it shall come to pass, if you diligently obey the voice of the Lord your God, to observe carefully all his commandments, which I command you today, that the Lord your God will set you high above all nations of the earth. High above all nations of the earth. Why? You know, the same word he used, let the birds fly above. I will set you high above. And all these blessings began on the 5th day. And all these blessings shall come upon you and overtake you because you obey the voice of the Lord your God, because you obey. Blessed you shall be in the city, and blessed you shall be in the country. Blessed shall be the fruit of your body, and the produce of your ground, and the increase of your herds, the increase of your cattle, and the offspring of your flocks. Blessed shall be your basket and your kneading bowl. Blessed shall you be when you come in, and blessed shall you be when you go out. The Lord will cause your enemies who rise up against you to be defeated before your faces. They shall come out against you one way and flee before you 7 ways. The Lord will command a blessing on your storehouses and in all which you set your hand, and he will bless you in the land which the Lord your God is giving you. The Lord will establish you as a holy people to himself, just as he has sworn to you. If you keep the commandments of the Lord and walk in his ways, then all the peoples of the earth shall see that you are called by the name of the Lord, and they shall be afraid of you. And the Lord will grant you plenty of goods in fruit of your body, in the increase of your livestock, and in the produce of your ground, in the land which the Lord swore to your fathers to give you. The Lord will open to you his good treasure, the heavens, to give you rain, to give rain to your land in its season, and to bless all the work of your hand. You shall lend to many nations, but you shall not borrow. And the Lord will make you the head and not the tail. The Lord will make you the head and not the tail. And you shall be above only and not beneath, if you heed the commandments of the Lord your God, which I command you today, and are careful to observe them. So God tells you this is the way to stay above. Yeah, I made some creatures to be above and some to be beneath. If you want to be above, this is what to do. Follow my word. Follow my word. If you follow my word, then you're going to be above. You're going to succeed. You know, in Luke chapter 5, Peter said, we have toiled all night and caught nothing, but at your word, because of your word, I will let down the nets. And he succeeded. Jesus said to the woman with the issue of blood, your faith has made you whole. In John chapter 5, Jesus was asking a man who had been sick for 38 years, do you want to be made whole? I want you to know that in the 5th season, you have a choice. You have a choice. And the choice is, you have a choice whether you want to succeed or you want to fail. If you want to succeed, if you want things to go well, obey the voice of the Lord. Obey the voice of the Lord. But if you don't want to obey the voice of the Lord, if you just want to do your own thing, then just leave. You're going to be like the fleshy sea creatures. You're going to be down. Yeah, things may look like it works for you, but you're going to be down. That's why Galatians chapter 5 says, walk in the Spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. The 5th book of the Bible shows us, gives us stories of people who wanted to do their own things. In Acts chapter 5, Ananias and Sapphira, they went down because they walked in the flesh. In 1 Corinthians chapter 5, the Bible tells us a story of a man who was sleeping with his father's wife. He went down. In 2 Kings chapter 5, the Lord shows us a picture of Elisha's servant who chose the way of materialism instead of, following the spiritual way. He went down, he became a leper. The Bible shows us about Belshazzar in Daniel chapter 5, who chose to mock the God of Israel. He went down. in chapter 5. The handwriting on the wall appeared, and that day the Babylonian kingdom fell. You will see what happened to the Philistines who brought the ark of God to the house of Dagon, their God, and began to mock the God of Israel. They faced trouble. So that's what the fifth season shows. Do you want to go up? You want to be like like the birds of the air, or you want to be fleshy? Fleshy. Look at the sea creatures. They all look fleshy. They look heavy, fatty, but they are down. They are down. They are dwelling. You hardly will see a bird that flies that is full of fat. They have feathers, but they're not fatty. They're not fatty. They're not fleshy. Full of feathers. Soar, fly high. So that's what it looks like in the fifth season. The sea creatures may want to jump up. They're going to jump back into water. They can't be above. They got to be beneath. And that's the habitation of cruelty, where fish eats fish. Fish eats fish. Fish swallows fish. Those who drown in high seas, become food for fish. So I pray for you this day. That's part of the reason that, Joshua had, in Joshua chapter 5, God told him, circumcise these people, cut off the flesh. So this is a season to cut off flesh. It's a season to pay more attention to the spiritual than you pay to the carnal and to the natural. You understand why Elisha, a man brought an offering to him. Why will he say no? So self-denial is more rewarding in the fifth season than self-indulgence. I pray that the Lord will give you understanding. Faith is bigger than fear in the fifth season. The word is bigger than the world in the fifth season. I pray that God will bless you tremendously, because he has blessed you already. Amen.